This sporting great won his first World Snooker Championship at only his second attempt. Dominating his sport throughout the 70s, he claimed the sixth and last of his world titles at the age of 45, making him the oldest ever champion. He is Ray Reardon. Ray, it's the classic story, being born in South Wales in a pit town, and that's where you ended up, down the mines. What sort of?
I was down the mines, all right.
Yeah. Was it real toil? What sort of job was that?
I was a bevanite, and the bevanite was in those days doing, because we're talking sort of 1946 really. Yes, I was 14 down the mines, and it was a toss-up whether he went in to do national call-up or go down the mines, and I chose to go down the mines really.
Which would have been the most dangerous?
Well, I'm still alive.
But it nearly cost you your life.
Going down the mines was a very interesting thing in my life, really, yes. I mean, because I didn't know any different. My father was a miner, and all the parents were miners. So you went down the mines and you came up the mines, and there were no pithead baths, and you worked in deplorable conditions with a cap lamp and an oil lamp to test for damp and so forth. You bathed at home in front of the fireplace in one of those metal little tubs things. When you washed, all the scum of the coal off your face came to the top of the water. It was horrendous when I look back at it.
And every day you had to do that?
Every day you had to do that, yeah. And of course, because I liked playing snooker, I was introduced to snooker by my father and all his brothers. He had 5 brothers, and they all played in the same team, the Dracula Workmen's Institute. I was always afraid of getting my hands damaged and injured in such a way that I couldn't play snooker. And I wore white industrial gloves, which I took a lot of stick for down the mines because they'd want to know what sort of gender I was, really. But I mean, I wore these gloves and it's kept my hands in very good stead all my life, really.
Tell me about the big accident.
Well, we moved from Wales to Stoke-on-Trent. And whilst down the mine in Florence Colliery in Staffordshire, there was a roof collapse and I got buried. And I was buried for 3.5 hours and I got out of it unscarred. A few bruises. And I kept alive by playing marbles with my younger brother. I have a brother named Ron who's 17 years younger than I. And whilst I was buried, I played marbles with him. All in my mind, I must have played thousands of games of marbles. Because the moment the roof came down, I was folded up, legs beneath me, and I couldn't breathe, I couldn't open my mouth, couldn't open my eyes, couldn't do anything. And you had this urge to struggle against this force that was pinning you down. And as I was struggling, which I wasn't getting anywhere, my blood temperature was going up, blood pressure rather was going up, and I thought, I've got to stop or I'm going to die. I'm going to asphyxiate. So I started concentrating on my brother with playing marbles, and I felt all my blood pressure coming down, my legs went numb. And I just waited then for the 3.5 hours till they rescued me, hopefully.
But you really thought you were a goner though at one stage, did you?
Oh, I never give up now. Oh no, I never thought.
It's interesting that mind over matter technique that you employed.
But there's a more interesting thing about that, you know, because as a junior, as a boy when I was in Wales in the mines, I started playing snooker. And I played for a couple of years, entering the Boys' Championship of Wales, and I never won a frame. Not even one game. But that didn't deter me because I loved the game. I was fascinated by it.
You escaped the mines and you enlisted in Butlins.
Yeah, well, Butlins. I mean, that would be, let's say that would be 1957, 58. We were then moving in, living in Stoke-on-Trent, and I got through this, as you say, I'd come out unscarred, and I got married that year, and not having a job, because I wasn't going to go down the mines again. And I applied to join the police force. So there was a waiting time of around about a year, I suppose, before I'd be accepted, because they have to look into your background and so forth. And I decided to go to a holiday site with my then wife, and we went to Clacton-on-Sea. And I was a commissionaire on the gate, isn't it?
So you don't get a red coat for that.
You get a blue one out there.
A blue
yes,
coat
yeah.
for that.
Blue one with a yellow band, camber band going round, and the peak hat. You know.
So many people in showbiz, I suppose, start out in those holiday camps. Did you ever come across
Yes,
any?
I did indeed. Yeah, I mean, wages aren't a big premium in those places, and you used to do anything to earn a few extra shillings. I used to go on the bingo stall, and one day I'm doing overtime, if you like, on this bingo stall. And the caller, you'd never believe who the caller was.
Who?
It was Dave Allen.
Dave Allen.
I mean, Dave was a red coat at Butlins in those days, and he was, as he is today, a great comedian and far more experienced now and far better, no doubt. But a lot of people set out from there.
So when did you actually turn professional? The police got their man, we should say, after
That's
Butlins,
right?
right? And you spent
7 years, 8 months in the police force.
7 years.
Yes.
Fully fledged cop.
I always remember going to the college because I would be then, what sort of age would I be there? 29, 28, yeah, coming up to 30 then, 20. Yes, I was around that age, yeah, 28, 27, 28.
What sort of life was the police then?
And, well, they didn't think I'd get in.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'd get in on my credentials, yes, but whether I'd pass the exams was another matter. And I went to Wrighton and Dunsmore, and midway through the first week, they go out for their training run, and they go for 3 miles. Well, there's no way I can run 3 miles. I've been down a mine all my life.
Yeah.
Been down a mine for 13 years. And of course, the people I'm competing against are who just come out of school, and they were cadets in the police force, and they were 17 to 19-year-olds. And so this Sergeant Blythe, who was the national sort of West Midlands police long-distance runner, off they go, run out to the gate, and I follow him for about 200 yards. And then that's me up. I finished. I'm going to walk. And I walked, and I got back to the gate some 15 minutes after everybody else, and he's standing there with his stopwatch. I don't know what he wants a stopwatch for. I mean, I'm not going to break any records. So he clicks it. He said, well, he said, there you are. He said, you're never going to become a policeman. And I said, Sergeant Blythe, I said, I will become a policeman. He said, how did you make that out? And I said, well, when I'm out on the beat, I said, and a call will come through to me to go down to a pub somewhere. There's a little bit of a disturbance. I will walk down. And when I get there, they'll knock each other to pieces, I said. And I will just pick him up and say, gentlemen, come with me, and I take him to the station. He said, I think you may be a policeman.
And they let you in?
I became a policeman.
Well, why was it a good life? I mean, but why did you pack that in?
Didn't have any qualifications for anything else. Well, why did I pack it in?
Yeah.
Oh, because I turned pro.
So the snooker
player. Yeah.
Why was it the right time to turn pro? I mean, was there money to be had?
No,
then?
there was no money in it. That was late 67.
Then why did you do it? Was this was snooker your vocation?
I went to South Africa with Jonathan Barron of Cornwall, representing Great Britain on a test series against their country for 6.5 weeks during the summer of 67. And it was whilst out there that I did well. And there's an MD of a billiard company out there said to me at the end of the tour, he said, look, he said, you should turn pro. He said, you've got all the credentials for a professional player. There's a few corners we've got to knock off, but if you go back, he said, and decide to turn pro, give me a whistle, he said, and I'll have you out here for a 3-month tour. And I went home and decided, and that's what happened. I gave him a ring and left the police force, and sure enough, within a month I was back in Africa on a 3-month tour. And I earned, I think it was something like £2,000 or something like that. And of course you get it in one lump, you know.
And what would you have been earning as a policeman then?
£1,000 a year.
£1,000 a year?
Yeah.
So in one go, you doubled your wages
right,
then?
Yeah. In 3 months.
It's good business, isn't it?
It's very nice, wasn't
Very
it?
nice.
I've never seen so much money.
Yeah.
That was a lot of money.
Even at that stage, Ray, I mean, obviously, titles were in
abundance. The World
abundance.
Championship was in the doldrums, it wasn't being played for.
Yeah, but I mean, having said that, titles are always worth something professionally, the pride to win them.
Yeah.
But when did they actually become worth money, as it were? I mean, you say the world title was in the doldrums, it wasn't being played for.
Well,
at what
no,
stage of your career
what
did
had happened is John Spencer turned professional in 67. And that sort of made the door open for others to go, I suppose. And then I turned, and then Gary Owen turned, Graham Miles, and then Dennis Taylor and a host of people. But the championship was only about £1,000 then, and in 1970 when I won it, it was £1,250. But then pot black started that year, 1969, and I won the first pot black.
For 79-41.
It was Reardon, of course, who won the first pot black in 1969. And a great shot there from the world champion. The pink over the pocket. And so the pot black champion, Doug Mountjoy, has to be contented with the highest break of the series for 79, a break of 82 for which he will receive the Joe Davis Trophy and £100.
So you got winning the first pot black. That hasn't been shown until the following summer. Then in between it being shown, I won the world title. And in winning the world title, they then showed pot black for the 17 weeks which it ran for. And I was going to be the ultimate winner. So I had all this advertising, which is very nice, isn't it, really? And it led up to a lot of engagements. And then I lost the title the next year. Then I regained it the year after.
Can Reardon take these last 5 colours? The world crown relies on it. He wants this frame to take it for the 2nd year running. Perfect position on the blue.
56-63.
Only 7 points in it now. He wants the last 3 balls.
61-63.
2 points in it. A grandstand finish by Ray Reardon, the current champion.
63.
To clear up the colours, the last 2 reds, 2 blacks, and all the colours, to win by just 5 points. And there it goes.
You were certainly there, Ray, when snooker enjoyed its best TV years. It was a phenomenon. It was so new to people, and people loved it, as you said there. But they were snooker's best TV years, but were they necessarily snooker's best years?
Oh, yes, without doubt, yes. Oh, I mean, the camaraderie amongst the players was fantastic. I suppose it is. Today, in a certain way, maybe. But I don't know of it today. No, I only know of it then, you know. And that was something special. Because you played each other, you played at tournaments, and nobody went away. They all stayed. And you had a little celebration drink after, and if during a game you may have been a bit lucky on a certain shot, perhaps, and you'd be at the bar having a drink, and then your opponent would come out, and you'd buy him a drink, and he'd start chatting about the game, and he said, "You know that shot?" He said, "Did you play that?" And I said, "Of course I didn't." You don't get that today, you see, now.
I want to recall for you the 1978 World Championship, a semi-final against Eddie Charlton. You went on to win that year.
I did.
Against Perry Mons, wasn't it?
Perry Mons played in the final.
Yeah. But the semi-final was proving to be a bit of a hurdle. And when you went to the break, you were 6-1 down. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes.
So
I used to like gin and tonic in those days. Yeah.
Were you pretty down in the dumps at that stage at 6-1 down?
It was 3 sessions.
Yeah.
So I've lost the first session 6-1, but it doesn't that I'd come out losing 6-1. The fact was that when I went in on the table, I felt absolutely wonderful. I don't think I've ever gone to the table feeling any better, more equipped to win that particular match or win a tournament for that matter. And I've walked off losing 6-1. I haven't been able to pot nothing. Nothing worked. So I'm going up with a pal of mine, Gordon Ingham, back up to his home up in South Arran, up in Yorkshire. And I said, look, book a table at Traviata's in Leeds tonight. So we're going to go out and have a slap-up meal, and I'm going to get absolutely smashed. And he said, don't be silly. It's only, look, I said, I can't feel any better than I felt today. There's no way. I said, we've got to do something really extraordinary here. And we did that, and we had some gin and tonics in his house before we went. We had some more when we got there. And we had some white wine, red wine, we had champagne. We got back to his house at some unearthly hour. We drank a bottle of port. And I was on at 10:30 next morning.
Yes. Now, had you given up this? I mean, you'd basically given up this semi-final. This was a deliberate tactic to bring you back down to earth.
Bring me back to normal, yeah. You can't normally do this. It isn't something you could ever go. I could never go and do it again. And I've gone on the table, and honestly, even the click of the balls gave me a pain in the head. You know? It was terrible. But I never missed anything. I potted everything in sight. Won the Yule session. And then, of course, I had that famous interview with one of your counterparts.
David Vine.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I came here yesterday morning at 11 o'clock when Eddie thrashed me 6-1, I felt fantastic. I did, honestly. I felt super. I felt fit as a flea. Really. And what happened? He did me 6-1. Yeah. Couldn't complain against that. He played super snooker. So last night, about 8 double gin and tonics. In bed at 3 o'clock this morning. Tired today. Played marvellous.
Ray Reardon into the final on his way to his sixth title.
But I didn't tell him how much I drank, man. They thought I was a bloody alcoholic or something.
What about the final then against Perry Moss?
Yeah, well, that was a bit of a different type of game altogether, you know, because Perry is a lovely chap, South African, comes from Johannesburg. But he's a basher, you know, knocks the balls in all over the place now. Power potter, but lacks a bit on the positional play. So there was no problem there. No.
That gave you.
I was always going to win it.
That gave you your last World Championship win, and in the record books, it puts you there as the oldest ever world champion at 45 and a half years.
I know.
I think.
And do you know that both the two other gentlemen who owns that distinctive record of winning 6 world titles, Steve Davis and Stephen Hendry, they won 6 before I won my first.
Incredible.
Age-wise.
Now, 2 things, but we'll talk about those sort of opponents, but also let's just talk about age first of all. Being 45 and a half years old at that stage in 1978.
It was 45 and a half now.
It's obviously, it seemed old then, but did it bring its problems? I mean, you had to, for instance, glasses came into play for you, didn't they?
No, they came later. The glasses came in when I was in the late 80s, yeah, mid-80s.
Yeah.
Mid-80s my eyes started going, so that would make me, coming up to nearly the bordering 60, I suppose, late 80s, 58, 57. My eyes started going. And I went to have contact lenses done, and I thought, well, who made and who created contact? Who invented them? And it was John de Carl down in New Bond Street here in London. So I went to see him. Who better? And he prescribed some contact lenses for me, and it took me about a year and a bit more to get used to them. And then after 2 or 3 years, my left eye rejected. And I went back to see him. He said, no, he said, you've got to give it up now. He said, you've got to wear spectacles. So I've lost 3 or 4 years of good play, because it took me a couple of years to get used to them. And then just as I'm getting used to them, suddenly I've got to go into glasses. And that changed the whole thing altogether. And then, of course, I'm into the late 80s, coming on to 90 then. And in 91 I stopped playing. There's no way. There was 2 things. I couldn't get on with the glasses. And I couldn't certainly get on with playing the qualifying rounds, because by then I'm going out in the seedings and got to qualify or pre-qualify. And you know the system that they did in all these little alleys, and you sat in there, and it's like sitting at the back end of a bowling alley. I couldn't play under those circumstances. There was no audience there. You just had the referee and a score marker, maybe a couple of people there. People walked by.
You were used to a bigger stage.
I was used to being in the middle with television, 500,000 or 600,000 people, more people. There was no motivation. There was no atmosphere.
If you had got
And
the
I thought,
glasses
it's time for me
right,
to go, right.
well, if you had got the
I
glasses
went.
right, I mean, would you have stayed? I mean, because glasses, whereas you were having difficulties, Dennis Taylor was then making glasses
Yes, Dennis
famous,
done
wasn't
well.
he?
Dennis has done well with his glasses, yeah.
Hmm.
Yes, yeah. But he had them early on, didn't he, Dennis? I mean, he's only a young chap now.
What about the young chaps of today and the superb talents?
Yeah,
That they
tremendous,
are.
exciting.
I mean, although you're there in the record books,
Magic potters, aren't they?
similar
Yeah.
titles and all that sort of thing,
Yeah.
do you genuinely believe that at your height that you could have held your own with the Hendrys, with the Davises, with all
Well,
the
it's
available
one
there?
thing we'll never ever find out, I suppose. But yes, I mean, you're the best of your day, aren't you, really? I mean, Joe Davis, for instance, I mean, there was the pioneer of our game. So I was lucky that he was there, and his brother and many other great, wonderful players of those eras, like the first person I played in the final of my championships in 1970, John Pullman. And of course, dear old John, unfortunately, he's not with us now. He left us last week, and that's very sad. But what a great player he was. And he'll be remembered for all the things that he did, you know. But no, and then I came along, and Spencer came along, and then what about Alex Higgins came along, you know? Well, there was somebody who came into the game like a breath of fresh air.
Just 3 balls to go now for a break of 135. Ray Reardon has sat in his chair for the whole of this final frame. Fantastic. And the Embassy World Snooker Champion for 1982 is Alex Hurricane Higgins.
What are your memories of Alex Higgins?
No one could pot any balls better or quicker than he could. I mean, and with such prolific style, you never know what he was going to do. I remember the great Joe Davis coming to see Alex, playing his brother in Manchester in one of the earlier World Championships. And he sat on the front row there, and Alex had come to the table, and he played a certain shot, one of those prolific deep screw shots with reverse side. And he saw the ball swerving around, hitting the cushion, going zoom, zoom. And Joe fell off the chair in laughter. He'd never seen it. He couldn't believe it possible that a ball could do so much with so much spin on it. No, you see, he pioneered the game the best way he could. We did it our way. And then came Steve Davis, who did it his way, you know. And what a great ambassador for the game, Steve Davis. Absolute gentleman. Great player. And of course, he had his sort of 10 years of office, like I had my 10 years of office. And then came along the Scottish boy, Stephen Hendry. Well, what a wonderful player that is, you know, I mean. And of course, he had his 10 years. And suddenly, he's not doing so well either now. He's still up there in the top 6, you know. Wonderful.
So
but the thing is, you know, against them and I, in my day, there was probably 4 or 5 good players, half a dozen good players. Today, there's a bucket full of good players. And to stay at the top for the 10 years that Steve Davis, and Stephen Hendry another 10 years at his top, more competitions playing, more good players, more young potters, more fearless players. Yet when you're young, you can pot anything. You don't. It's like putting, isn't it? Really, those 5 or 6 foot putts, you just bang them in. When you get a bit older, and it's the same thing can happen in any sport. But it was harder for their 10 years than it was for my 10 years. Let's put it that way. I thought so anyhow, because the amount of more opposition which they had, you know. But I mean, if we say the best of our day, how good would be? I'd be with them.
It's one thing, players staying at the top. It's another, and snooker has faced this in recent years, snooker as a sport staying at the top.
It's done well, snooker.
Well, I mean, you say that and you're involved and you're in the game because you went from playing the game to running the game.
Well, the players have always been involved in running their own organisation, really.
How long will the public...
It always was, anyhow, prior to the sort of 80s.
Yeah. Do you think the public still have the same appetite for snooker? I mean, there is an argument that
yes,
there was too
holding
much
itself.
snooker on the television, that it was overexposed.
It still gets its ratings, very high ratings. When you're at the top of a thing for 20 years, the sport, there's only one way it can go. You can just go down a little rung to one rung, that's all. And if you can stay up there with one rung short of the top rung, I think it's doing quite well. It's doing admirably. And it is staying up there. Its ratings are high. People still talk about it. They now talk about Ronnie O'Sullivan's, Jimmy Wyatt's, the more younger players coming forward, Mark Williams, Matthew Stevens. There's a host of them, isn't there? I couldn't dream of mentioning them all because I believe in so many, I wouldn't be fair.
Well, there's a host of them, but people may feel that there are less characters. And when you look...
Well, they're young. I mean, they're a bit young, don't forget.
Yeah, so were you once, Ray?
Yeah, we were all the young ones, as they say. But when you're young, I mean, it takes a while to learn how to cope with these things and to make use of what you've got.
He's going to have trouble curing through that beard.
How did you take to the Dracula nickname?
Loved
the
it,
Count.
loved it.
Did you?
Absolutely.
That was never tempted to change the hairstyle, brush
No,
it forward,
no,
part
not
it in the
the
middle.
teeth either,
Or
no.
the teeth either.
Yeah. Changed the rest of them, but not those two. Oh, I like that. It came out in 1974, playing Graham Miles in the World Final. And every day throughout the championship, I wore a different jacket. And on the final day, I came out with a red silk, pure silk jacket, and the cape, which had a red interior, and of course the top hat, and the cue was the walking stick, the cane, and it was flamboyantly thrown over my shoulder, and it brought the house down, really. I mean, poor Graham sitting there, and I kept him waiting about a minute just to make a big entrance, you know. It's a bit unfair, isn't it, really, that?
It is indeed.
Yeah, well, you've got to win somehow, haven't you?
Well, they say that vampires are immortal, and Ray Reardon, certainly your record has guaranteed you that sporting great immortality. It's been lovely talking to you. Thank you very much. Thank you.